Welcome to BBC's videos on tips and frequently asked questions related to preparing proposals in response to solicitations for federal funding. We spend lots of time here at BBC working with companies that are applying for federal funding, and we're going to use the Small Business Innovation Research Program as an example to try and provide you with some tips and some advice on the best ways to navigate this difficult process. Today I want to talk about the process itself and why it is a process. So let's start with a few assumptions. One assumption is that in the world of commercialization, there's no such thing as build it and they will come. Same thing in proposals. There's no such thing as let me tell you my great idea and you'll want to fund me. It's a process. So let's talk about the steps that you need to do to navigate this process successfully. The first one is you've got to find a funding opportunity announcement. Typically in the world of federal funding, there's no such thing as an unsolicited proposal. So you need to respond to a solicitation. So step number one in the process is to find a solicitation. In the solicitation, the agency is going to outline exactly what they're looking for and what rules you need to follow. One of the next things you need to do is determine if there are specific requirements relative to eligibility. What type of organization is able to apply to this particular funding opportunity announcement, and you need to determine if you're eligible. The next thing you need to figure out is whether or not you're competitive, because eligibility and competitiveness are not the same thing. In a future video, we're going to talk about that. But for right now, let's talk about the fact that you've determined you're eligible and you think your project is competitive for this particular funding opportunity. The next thing you need to do before you ever start writing is to figure out how your proposal is going to be judged. So that we refer to as the review criteria. Are there specific review criteria? Does my project respond to the solicitation and am I able to address the review criteria? Now, once you determine you're eligible, once you think you're competitive, and once you understand the review criteria, now you're ready to write a proposal. Now you need to take the necessary steps to pull together all the pieces and write a responsive proposal. Once you have a proposal written, though, you're still not done, because the next step is to actually navigate the submission process. Different agencies and different solicitations will have different ways that you're going to get your proposal to them. Most right now are electronic, but some are still paper copy. So you need to determine exactly what's required to do the submission process. Registrations might be required that can take some time, and delivery could take some time. Lastly, you submit your proposal, you navigate the submission process, and the agency reviews your proposal. But if they want to fund you, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a check in the mail. And there are probably administrative requirements that you have to meet in order to actually accept the agency's money. So, let's review the steps in our process. First of all, you have to find a funding opportunity. You need to determine if you're eligible. You need to determine if you can be competitive. You need to understand how your proposal is going to be judged, which is the review criteria. You need to develop a proposal. Once you develop the proposal, you need to be able to successfully deliver that proposal to the funding agency. And lastly, you need to make sure you meet the administrative requirements for accepting the money. I hope this list has been helpful, and we'll try and dig into some of these in more detail in another video.